Welcome to the Hourly Podcast. In today's episode, David Abes, owner of Dash Hospitality Group, shares his insights on restaurant management, consulting, and the importance of treating employees like family. He discusses the challenges faced by the restaurant industry, including economic factors and labor dynamics, while emphasizing the need for effective communication and employee engagement strategies. David reflects on his early career experiences and the lessons learned that have shaped his approach to hospitality and service. Enjoy.
How's your day been?
Been great. It's been great. Some big things happening. So, new year, here we go.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it. So, for those of our audience that don't know you, give a brief introduction if you can.
Yep. David Abes, owner of Dash Hospitality Group. We're a management consulting company. We have clients throughout the whole country, startups, come fix my problems, you name it, anything with F&B. I also own a couple restaurants here in Funwoody and Dunwoody, Georgia. 3 restaurants, a food truck, and I've got a new dessert concept getting ready to open in March.
Yeah, I love that. And I've personally been and sat with you in one of those restaurants, right? Tell us some of those things that you've learned over the years that makes your restaurant stand above the rest.
I think, number one, the answer is yes. What's the question? We're always about the guest. I mean, the guests are the ones who choose us. We don't choose the guest, and we'll do whatever it takes. If they ask me to do a backflip, I'll do a backflip, but I'll probably break my neck, but that's what I do.
I love that. And are those along the lines of things that you teach people as you're doing more consulting, or what sort of consulting work are you doing with other restaurants?
Yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, like I said, some startups where these people aren't even in the restaurant business who want to get in the restaurant business. So we're doing all the systems, SOPs, all that. Some are like been in business for 20, 30 years and they're just stuck in their ways. And they're like, hey, can you come in and help us with culture and how to really hospitality and service and all that? Plus menu development. There's a lot of that also because people are stuck. They've had the same menu forever and ever. And we're the ones who come in, hey, have you tried this or here's something new and unique.
Yeah. And then are recently, because I'm sure, or tell me if I'm wrong here, is that changes and challenges inside of restaurant alters kind of like year to year, month to month, quarter to quarter, based on what's happening for things that are outside of our control, right? Pandemic, inflation, all these different things. Right now, like as of Q1 2025, like what are the biggest issues inside of restaurants that you're finding?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is you're right, just the economy and people, treating where they spend $1 or $1,000. You got to treat them, like their money is a value to us, and that we've got to take care of them. That's number one. I think people are looking for approachability when it comes to the menu, consistency, but also, like I keep saying, it's really what the atmosphere that you're, the positive energy. I think there's been so much negative energy in the last few years. I think everybody's, wants to come and feel like they're on vacation when they come to our restaurants.
Yeah. I love that. And talk to me a little bit about the people practices, right? So this is the Hourly Podcast. We love talking about team members. What are you hearing from the field on the labor front?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, with these kids, especially the front of the house, it's really how you treat them and treat them like they're humans, not just a number. You can't scream and yell. You got to, got to be a little more understanding. I think that's the most important thing, but treat them like their family, and try to, work with them to show them how to make more money. A lot of them are just looking, to chase the dollar. So if you can show, hey, this is how you can suggest you sell without selling the most expensive items, it's really coaching, I think, is a big thing with this.
Yeah, and when you say treat them like their family, like what does that mean? Is that something that you're like pulling them into more meetings? Is it while they're on shift? Is it texting them when they need help? Like, what's that mean to you tactically?
I think the biggest thing is communication, whether it's lineup. I think instead of you just lecturing at lineup, listen to what they have to say because they're on the front lines. They're the ones talking to the guests mainly. So I think that's a big thing. Or if they need certain tools, if we're low on glassware or silverware, like listen. I think a lot of people don't listen. So I think you really have to listen to your people.
Yeah, I love that, right? And to your point, especially as you get more and more units, it's harder to be in the day-to-day of understanding all the different challenges. And I think one of the things, particularly in the hourly book, that it challenges is like the humanization of the hourly worker and how business owners, should they invest and listen to said worker, you're going to see a lot of benefits beyond retention and reduced labor costs, but you're going to see other things in the restaurant, right? And I love examples of like David Walsh from New England Authentic Eats. They had somebody approach them with a menu item idea and they adopted it, and now it's one of their best sellers. So it's like, these people at the ground floor, super smart generation, super technology savvy, understand what the latest trends are, and can really help regardless of how much experience you have. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I think that's important. I think listening to your guest also. I
Hmm.
mean, when you're doing table visits and hey, I was in, London and I saw this idea or whatever. Listen to them, research. I mean, you always have to stay one step ahead, but we're in the people business, no matter what. So listen to your people.
Yeah, I love that. And so like over the course of your career, one of the things that we talk a lot on this podcast are different perks, approaches, benefits that other operators have deployed and it have, benefit to employment engagement, recruitment, happiness. And we've heard things like, added health insurance, mental health resources, all these various things. And we feel comfortable without giving away any trade secrets. Like, what are some things that worked for you in the past that another restaurateur can add, or maybe a horrible story about something you tried and it didn't work so good, which sometimes are more entertaining?
Well, it's interesting. What we provide health insurance, but it's very, very few people take us up on the health insurance from an hourly standpoint. So that's always something that's very interesting. Having fun, whether it's running contests, high fiving them when somebody gets a compliment. I think the most important thing is going and saying, "Hey, great job with table 21," right then and there. I think a lot of people wait till the end of the shift or wait till the next day. I think if you catch them in the middle of the game, people are very appreciative of that. Um, I think it's working with people's schedules. Everybody, these people in this day and age have 1, 2, 3 jobs and have a life also. So you got to be flexible with people's schedules.
Yeah, and how do you do that? Is it like a whiteboard? Is it software? Like, how do you currently facilitate?
Software. I mean, we use Homebase is what our software
Yeah,
scheduling platform is, but it's really about communicating, hey, this is what's going on. December, there was tons of holiday parties and we had offsite catering.
yeah,
So it's like just communicating, hey, this is what's happening in 2 weeks, but then just being realistic with them and saying, hey, save your money. January is usually a lull. So, just, trying to communicate to them. Hopefully they listen.
yeah. Love that. And why do you think that not many people use the health insurance that you provide?
I question that. I mean, old staff, they do, but these younger kids like don't think that's important. I'm healthy. And we offer it to them. Offer to them, we have our insurance guy come in, show them here's what it's gonna, what the costs are and all that. It's just a lot
Yeah,
of them
it's super interesting.
weird.
Yeah, super interesting. But I know you're a busy guy. Our podcasts are super short. It's meant to be kind of on the floor, all these different things.
Yeah.
So I'll ask and wrap up with one simple question. I ask every single guest this. What was your first hourly job? And were you fired from that job or did you leave it gracefully?
Oh, this is great. So my first job was GD Ritzy's. It was a hamburger hot dog ice cream place. It was based out of Columbus, Ohio, and it came to Atlanta, and I loved it. I loved it. And my second month I was there, I was employee of the month. Employee of the
Well,
month. And anyway, when I was ready to quit, I said to my dad, I said, Dad, I'm irreplaceable. I was employee of the month. And my dad said, I'm going to let you know something. The only person who's not can be replaced is the owner. He said, you're a 15-year-old kid. He said, anybody can make hamburgers and hot dogs. So it humbled me to think, oh, you're the best employee ever. So
so did
that
you
was,
get fired or did you leave?
no, I left. I
Okay,
left.
I
But
got you. I got
another story is that when I was actually it was my second client when for my consulting company for Dash. And anyway, my contract was for 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, the client said, okay, thank you so much for everything you did. And I was like, that's it? Like, I wasn't used to, like, okay, actually, a contract ends. My first client is still my client 5 years later. But anyway,
you.
it was weird. Like, okay, wow, it's not fired, but you're done.
Yeah. All right, love it. Well, again, thanks so much for bringing the energy, bringing the insights. We love learning from you and look forward to staying in touch.
Yeah, definitely. Great seeing you again. Happy New Year.
You too. Thanks, David.